Hi, my name is Joe and I am doing Top 5 Wednesday. This tag was started by Lainey at Ginger Reads Lainey. I will link to her below, and it is also a group on Goodreads. The topic for this week is top 5 books with over 500 pages. And I know you all think I'm going to show you The Princess Bride, but I'm not. I'm not. I have other books to show you. So let's start with The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. I read this in the spring because it was the 75th anniversary of the book. This is about the Joad family that live in Oklahoma during the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl is a man-made tragedy. I guess you could call it a tragedy. I mean, it was tragic, where they farmed a lot and there just wasn't enough like old growth and whatnot, that all of the dust was just flying around and it was awful, and the people were having a terrible time farming, getting crops to take and planting everything, and there was just dust everywhere, and it was the Great Depression. The people were selling everything. There were flyers all over telling everyone about all of these wonderful jobs in California. And so they sold everything that they had. They packed up their car. It was kind of a car truck combination thing that they bought with the little money that they got for selling every belonging that they had, and set off for California. And this is what happens to them on their journey to California. It is heart-wrenching and it is an American classic. It's a Pulitzer Prize winner, and this is just a must read for everyone, particularly Americans, because this is a part of our history. It tells stuff that happened. My grandpa was a child during the Great Depression, not out west. We live on the East Coast. But still, it's just heartbreaking. So anyway, you have to read it though. This is a must read for anyone in their lifetime. You just must read it. Now, after I've gone on forever about that book, The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. I read this in September, and holy moly, I loved it so much. Now, this one takes place during World War II, about two cousins and the golden age of comic books. They start their own comic book, and I know that that does not sound interesting, really. I'm not a comic book fan, so it's not a book that's just for comic book people. This is a book for everyone because it's more than just about writing a comic book. The one cousin escaped from the Nazis and came to the United States, except his story, how he got here, is more than just, I bought a ticket and I left. It's more than that, and all of the stuff that they go through for about 20 to 30 years in New York City. This is another great read, and also another great time period in our American history. Next is Tara Road by Maeve Binchy. And I hate that it says Oprah's Book Club across the top. This is the first Maeve Binchy book that I read, and I love her writing. I've read all of her books now, all of them. This was the first one. This is the tale of women in Ireland. I also love, I love reading books set in Ireland and England, because they just seem to have so much more history. Like the buildings just sound a lot more interesting than our modern buildings, and I don't know. I just like it. It says the heartwarming New York Times bestseller. The Thorn Birds by Colleen McCullough. I'm not really sure how to say her name, but she's Australian. This is a book about Australia, and it's about a family. They are sheep farmers. A lot of stuff that happens to them. This is like the Grapes of Wrath for Australia, but also mixed with Gone with the Wind. This is like an Australian Gone with the Wind, Grapes of Wrath combination. And it's much shorter than Gone with the Wind. I truly loved this book. This is it's an epic tale of a family. There is, the big house with the parents and then the children and their children and all of this stuff that happens to them, what they do, how they come together, how they face family tragedies and grow up. And it's just amazing. I really loved it. I really loved it. You can see a picture of the people on the front. I don't remember exactly what time period this took place in. They leave New Zealand to live on a vast Australian sheep station where their triumphs and tragedies are interwoven with the wonder and terror of a land ravaged by cycles of drought, fire, and torrential flood. But most of all, it is the story of Maggie, who falls madly in love with a man she could never marry, and of Ralph, a truly beautiful man whose ambition takes him from outback parish priest to the inner circles of the Vatican. It begins in 1915. And last but not least is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. I think that we all have an idea of what Gone with the Wind is about. Scarlett and Ashley and Rhett Butler. So this book is about Scarlett, and it takes place during the Civil War. She is a Southern belle living on a plantation with her family. She's strong-willed and does not like to follow the social norms. She decides what she wants to do and goes and does it. Social norms be damned. And her love life, there's a love triangle. She marries and she has children, and people die and people remarry and people are terrible and more people die and soldiers invade houses, and a strong woman faces all of this head on with determination and does what she has to do for her family. It's also a Pulitzer Prize winner. It takes place in the South in the United States. So this is another one about a great time period in the United States. I have a love-hate relationship with Scarlett. Some of the things I thought she was very strong, and other times I thought, you did this to yourself. You did this to yourself. You deserve the stuff that's happening to you. What were you thinking? You're so selfish. Pull yourself together, woman. That kind of thing. But I don't know. Other times I loved her. So I also read this entire book and barely cracked the spine. I am proud of myself. This book has, holy smokes, I can't believe I read this book. 1,448 pages. Wow. I mean, geez, that one's almost, nope. Wow. This is a very long book. So those are my top 5 big books for Top 5 Wednesday. If you do this tag, let me know so I can check out your video. If you don't do this tag, let me know what is your favorite big book over 500 pages. And I will talk to you later. Bye.